Hi, and welcome to Fostering Conversations, produced by CASA of Southwest Missouri. This is a podcast where we share the real stories of real children navigating the foster care system. Hi, my name is Shelby Blakely, and I am our training coordinator. Today, we have the amazing Michelle Romero.
Hi, I'm Michelle Romero.
Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining us today. Michelle experienced adversity from birth and grew up in the foster care system. She is now the owner-operator of Marigold Cafe, Catering and Venue, as well as the president of Home Builders Charitable Foundation and the founder of a nonprofit called Unfiltered. CASA partnered with Unfiltered on a shoe drive a couple years ago, and so we're very excited about having her back and maintaining this collaboration. So thanks so much for taking the time to come in and speak with us
Thanks for
today.
having me. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll jump in if that's okay with you.
Of course.
Perfect. So would you mind just telling us a little bit more about your nonprofit Unfiltered?
Yeah. I was sitting on the couch. I was speaking for all the local organizations so that we can raise money for all of them and sharing my story so that we can fight for these kids and help all of our local organizations, bring in that income so that we can fight for these kids, right? And so then I was just sitting on the couch. I was like, I think I can do more. And so I told my husband, I'm going to start something. It's going to call the Unfiltered. And he's like, what is this? I'm like, it's Unfiltered. Because there's no filter on these kids. And these kids have no filter. If you know any of them, they have no filter.
True.
So I started it, and he says, well, how are you going to do it? I said, we're going to start promising dream shoes. So we started promising dream shoes. This is pre-COVID. That dream shoe turned in from like a 6,000 to 10,000 after COVID, over $30,000 campaign.
Wow.
And the shoes got harder and harder to get.
Mhm.
And so now we still do shoes, but when a CASA calls us, when a social worker calls us, then we just provide the need on the spot. And we do everything name brand, everything brand new. Nothing we do is used. If it's a bed, it's a mattress. If it's a window unit for a new foster mom to place a child, if it's sports, whatever it is. So we just try to fulfill that need. And sometimes that need is taking care of a mama before services come into place, because we don't have a lot of homes for these kiddos. So why not try to keep them in their home if they can stay there? So sometimes it's just paying that utility bill, gas bill, getting a new crib, different things like that. So no questions asked. We don't look into income. We don't care what you drive. If we have the funds, we just pay for it. And we have nobody's paid staff. We pay for it. I've made big promises, and God's always provided the money.
That is so cool. Would you mind sharing some of your favorite impacts that you've made through that?
One girl in particular, we did our shoe drive, and she was actually happened to be in a home in my town where I lived. And so we did the shoe drive. I know nothing about these kids when we did them. All I get is these lists. And every single morning I would look at these lists, and there are 4 of them put together, and they're just so many. And I start memorizing them because that's all I am focused on are these children during this campaign. And so, there's a little girl, 7 years old, Doc Marten boots, brown size 5.
Okay.
Okay. That's what she wanted.
Yeah.
So a few months after the campaign, shoes have been given out, all the things. I get a phone call from Division of Family Services, and they said, hey, I've got a situation. We've contacted ambassadors. They're going to step in and help financially, but we still need more help. Can you help? I said, what's our situation? Well, the little girl who's come out of an extreme abusive situation. It's extreme. Her only family left is in California. And so they need to bring in that family so that she can meet them, feel comfortable, and make sure that this transition is smooth. So while ambassadors were paying for the flight, we covered the food, the lodging, and the stay. When grandma came in, because at the hotel we leave gift cards and things for them to eat while they're here.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was gift cards to our restaurant, different things.
Sure.
And so she brought her in. There's a card, and I got to meet this little girl, and I saw her shoes. And size 5 brown boot Doc Martens.
Uh-huh.
And I just looked at her and I said, honey, do you have a CASA? And she said, yes. And I said, okay. Did you get those boots for Christmas? She goes, I love my boots.
Mhm.
Today, this little girl lives with her grandparents in California, and I still get birthday and Christmas videos and
Oh.
photos. And all the things.
That was so
Yeah.
special.
So, you don't always get to see the impact. You don't always get to see the seeds that you plant bloom.
Right.
But just know they're blooming. Just
Yes.
know the plants are growing because somebody else is watering them.
Yeah.
And we just gotta plant the seed and move on.
Yeah, absolutely, and otherwise, we'll get stuck in the weeds, right? So,
Yes.
that's a great
Yes.
way to look at it. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
all you're doing with that
Yeah.
organization, and I love the collaboration you're able to have with so many agencies too, so
It's important.
absolutely. How many people do you have helping you with that?
So right now we're just volunteer based. So I have somebody that she just looks at all the funds in the bank. So basically every month she looks at them because there's no bills paid. Comes in, goes out.
Yeah.
That's it. So she just holds that accountable. And then we have a couple runners that'll run out and buy things,
Mhm.
volunteers. So I'd say we really have about maybe 12
Okay.
volunteers.
Small but mighty.
Small but mighty.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of large public attention social media anymore. We did. Some of these kiddos we take out of certain homes. They've asked me to come in personally. So I meet some of the abusers.
Mm.
And I call them out face to face,
Mm.
no fear. And so we've gotten a few threats.
Yeah.
So I've had to stop the
Not
public.
everybody likes that, huh?
Not everybody likes being called out,
Yeah.
but
Accountable.
I'm here to fight for and advocate for these children.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah.
Well, thank you for all you're doing,
Thank you.
seriously.
Thank
That's so
you.
cool. Okay, let's talk more about where your passion for child abuse awareness and prevention stems from, if that's okay.
Yeah. So my father was one of the most wanted men in Greene County in the Ozarks. He was a very large drug dealer, weapon and drugs trafficking. I mean, he ran a big operation. When my father got busted and he got put away in prison, my stepmother stepped in, and it was just her and my little brother and I. And that's when my abuse started, sexually, mentally, physically. She was very sexually abusive. A lot of people think, oh, her dad abused her or a man abused her. I mean, yes, many men abused me, many, but she was the core.
Mm.
She was the core.
Sure.
The mental abuse, to be a child, knowing what you're walking into, knowing that the curlers are put in your hair for a reason, but then just longing to want her to do your hair.
Yeah.
I mean, it messes with you. And then when you
Absolutely.
become an adult, you're like, that's wrong. But you don't think that's wrong. You think that's right. That's the love and attention and affection that you want.
Mhm.
You don't know what's healthy anymore. And you go through an angry phase and all the things. And so I have made it my mission to do whatever I can through my story, whether it be in depth detail, whether it be calling somebody out that doesn't need to be called out, or walking into the fire for these children. I will advocate for them. And the reason why I've never joined one organization, just one, is because I need to have the freedom to fully fight for these kids without a boss or anybody over my head. And so my family, my entire family knows it. These children are the best. They're a force to be reckoned with. They are our future presidents and they're our future business owners. And I'm here to show them the way and teach them.
Yeah. There's more than whatever you're experiencing,
Exactly.
whatever's normalized for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're being called names and saying you're nobody, you're a nobody. You're never going to be anybody but your parents. You're never going to be but nothing but a drug dealer. You're never going to be anything, but trying to keep it clean. The words aren't always clean,
Right.
and that's just it here. But when you have those pounded into your head that you're a nothing and you're a nobody, and then when you become a teen mom, nobody wants to give you a job. They
Mm.
refuse.
Yeah.
I was 15-year-old and pregnant, walking down Battlefield looking for work.
Yeah.
Nobody would give me a job. They asked for an application. I didn't know what an application or resume was. I have a fourth grade education. Not even fourth grade. I was in and out. So I had to figure it out. I walked to the Goodwill. I bought the best $7 dress I could afford with sandals, and I went and tried to find a job. Nobody would hire me.
Yeah.
And so I said, fine, I will make a way. And my doctor's like, do you have insurance? I didn't even know what those things were. I don't know what they
Right.
are.
Yeah.
I had to figure everything on my own. I didn't have TikTok and Google and social media and a phone at my hand. I had a payphone at the gas station with a big old yellow book.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
we had change that we had to find. Like, we had to figure it out. And we just, it's been a really long road. And I cannot tell you I figured it out because I have not. But I'm trying to.
Well, and you are resilient. Like, to
Trying to
go
be.
through some really hard things yourself and just still want so much more for your kiddo,
Mhm,
that's amazing, and
mhm.
it shows.
The minute my son was born, I was 16 years old, and I looked at him and I said, "You will never have the life I had,
Mhm.
and I don't care what I have to do.
Yep.
You will be successful. You will never experience what I did." And then I had more kids and just
Mhm.
keep going.
And you're bringing that to life with them through
Mhm,
showing them that you'll fight for these vulnerable youth and that
mhm.
you're making all of your free time
Yeah.
about that,
Yeah.
honestly.
My son in school, he come home, he's like, "I'm just running into these issues with this kiddo, and he's just really mouthy, and he's just like always got something to say, mom, and he's a foster kid." And I was like, "Oh, be careful, because he ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You might show him some grace.
Yeah.
You might show him some grace because you come home to your family every day, and that kiddo, he's got nothing to lose. So go ahead and fight him. That's fine. But I don't think you're gonna win, honey, no
Mhm.
matter how big you are,
Mhm.
because he's hurting and he's already lost it all.
Yeah.
So why don't you show him some grace and be his friend?"
Yeah.
And so, my son is a good kiddo, but he definitely kind of opened his eyes
Yeah.
that day. So
Well, we all have to take a step back and have some empathy for others, and
mhm.
it's an important lesson for our kids to learn for
Yeah.
sure, especially those that have not had to experience some of those really hard
Mhm,
things,
mhm.
right? Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah.
So, talk to me more about how you navigated that time in your life where you're trying to be resilient and find your way and navigate all of that. What kind of helped you?
So I eventually became a very angry teenager. I was in different organizations. All the organizations I'm involved with now, I lived there. So we've got KVC now, which is
Mhm.
Great Circle. They've had some name changes, but they still have the same staff. And Miss Debbie Speak, she was my mama. She's still my mama. I love her to
Wow.
pieces. Mary, all those women, there was social workers there that just constantly said no. No, Michelle. You are meant for more,
Mm.
Michelle. There was a bus from Cherry Street Baptist Church that would come to our meth house and pick us up for church. And the only reason why we were allowed to go to this church was because they would give us boxes of free groceries. So that was my way to provide something, right?
Yeah.
Because I had to provide something.
Yeah.
And sometimes to provide with the food from the church and not my body was nice. So that's what I did. And this woman sat in the back of this classroom and she kissed me on the forehead and she said, "I love you."
Yeah.
I was dirty. I was stinky. I smelled like straight poverty. And and she said, "I love you."
Yeah. How did that feel?
It was huge for me.
Yeah.
It was huge. There was teachers. There was a janitor at Campbell Elementary. When I would run away from situations in the middle of the night, he'd open the door and let me sleep in the nurse's station.
Mm,
And he'd always have food.
that's so crazy.
Yeah. He just let the door open and I would sleep and then I would leave and then I would come back like I just showed up at school
Mm,
wearing the same clothes,
mhm.
but he fed me. I don't think he knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there were social workers that I would just rip apart. I would destroy them and they just wouldn't give up on me. Some of them I think quit, but they just wouldn't give up on me. They told me, "I love you." And that wasn't something that I heard.
Yeah.
So they planted those seeds in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so they kind of showed you what you wanted to be
Mhm.
for your
Yeah.
kiddo.
I had a foster mom that came into my life, and she just rocked my world. She loved me so much.
Mm,
Today, I still call her mom. I
that's sweet.
still call her mom. She's a grandmother to my children. She was never my bio mom, but she was my mom, and her husband was like my dad. And yeah, I mean, it's been a year now, but I lost both of them 5 months apart,
Mm,
both my dads. But
sorry.
it's, she was incredible. She never stopped visiting me in detentions, following up, loving me. She was always there for me.
Wow. So through that consistency, you were able to really see what you wanted for your life too.
Mhm.
Oh. Well, thank you to all those people, named and
Yes,
unnamed.
thank you.
Seriously, because the impact that they've had on you have now allowed you to be that impact for so many others too.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about what you're doing now. So you own Marigold Cafe.
I do. I do.
What is the story behind how
Yes,
that
so we
happened?
own Marigold Farms, we own Marigold Cafe, we own Marigold Catering Company. We're getting ready to launch a couple more. We've got an investment firm, so we can buy all those meth houses and many as we can and flip them
Yeah.
and put some nice families in there.
Yeah.
So during COVID, we've always been in the construction, building investments, and during COVID, I was like, what am I going to do? And my husband's like, come on, slow down. And I'm like, no, there's more.
What do you mean do?
There's
He
more.
said.
There's more. I've got to do something. So I need people to gather.
Yeah.
And I need people to gather, and we need to continue to raise money for these organizations, and we need to continue to raise money for these kids. So I'm going to rent this spot. And he's like, no, you're not. People can't even gather. It's COVID. It's against the law. I don't care about the law. I'm going to rent this spot because where I live, there's no mask ordinance. It's one of the very small towns in this area that didn't have it. And I said, yeah, and I'm going to charge people to gather. I'm not going to be afraid of COVID. I'm going to charge people to gather, clean it up, bleach everything, and then still use the space. So that will pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
And so I did it.
And it worked.
And it worked. And churches were running it, and people were running it, and I cleaned it. Me and my husband and kids, we cleaned that place with leftover materials. We had like no money, nothing.
Yeah.
We were barely paying our bills. And so I'm like, we can do this, guys. We can do this. We've been up and been down, been up and been down. And so we did it, and everything opened up. So everything kind of went, uh-oh, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
I said, well, there's a commercial kitchen in here that they made us buy. And so we bought it on payments and then paid it off. But let's open a restaurant. And my husband said, absolutely not. My son said, no way. I said, God's come before me on this. And so I don't think you have a say so.
So sorry, it's actually already been decided.
It's already been decided. It's happening. He goes, you know nothing about opening a restaurant. I said, I think I can cook a little something, something. Let's figure it out. He goes, what are you going to put on the menu? I don't know. I'll figure it out the day before. Let's go. We did it. We launched it. 6 months later, it opened. We've been there 6 years, and we are expanding. We are a booked out catering company. Our cafe is very busy. You come on a Saturday, and there's lines out the door. We also launched 2 years ago the farmers market, so the fresh organic market, bringing produce to people, supporting other local small businesses, and just raising our strong entrepreneurs. I work with my daughters every day. I worked with my son too, but he's since now launched his career with my husband in real estate. So we just, I'm very blessed. I get to work with all the people I love, and I get to feed people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What better way to meet someone too?
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I've actually been to Marigold Cafe, and you make a mean breakfast burrito, girl.
Thank you. We are known for the burritos.
It is a big
Yes.
deal.
Biggest order is 1,400
At one time.
at one time.
So that seems like a fun family project.
Oh, honey.
I'm sure.
So they called me. They ordered it for a Tuesday, and then the next Wednesday morning, they said, Michelle, don't kill me. Can we have that same order Thursday? And the whole restaurant's open at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
I said, yes. Yes, you can.
Sure.
Because I started this chasing people down the parking lot because they would leave.
Yeah.
I would chase them and say, eat my food. And my children thought I was so crazy. And I just eat my food. And then I went to Amazon. I approached them. They came to town, and I said, let me feed you. So they'd give me like a 10-count lunch or something. And I would say, no, I want more. Let me feed you.
Yeah.
So I would go and speak at a big meeting, and then the guys at Amazon would be there, and they'd be like, so one day I spoke about my story in Unfiltered, and they were there. And he called me out, Michelle, I love your food. It's amazing. I'm so proud of you. It's just so great. And in front of everybody, there's 200 people there. And I'm sure not everyone heard it, but I said, right, then hire me for your biggest catering event of the year.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and said, "If you love my food so much." And he said, "Michelle, I just don't think you could handle it. You're a small operation." I said, "Honey, I'm a foster kid and I'm a female. You tell me no. I don't like that word. You tell me I
Mhm.
can't. I really don't like that word. So I will figure out a way to make it happen."
Mhm.
And since then, I have been one of the main caterers every single year, every event on
Wow.
all plants, and they're opening a new plant.
You're a bulldog.
That first
I
year,
love
that
that.
first catering, I did it by myself. And I wanted to do it by myself because I wanted to prove that I could create the system and learn it before I could teach others.
Yeah,
And I didn't sleep for about 30 days, but I did it.
I'm sure.
I did it. And I've got a system and I have an amazing team and they all work for me and I love them and I could not do without them. You don't see me a lot in the kitchen actually right now, but unless I'm training or creating new recipes. But yeah,
Big deal alert.
we
That
did
is
it.
so
We did
cool.
it. Yeah.
Way to
It's cool.
go.
But it was that being that foster kid. Like, just call me.
Yeah.
Call me it. I own it. I love that name.
Yeah.
It's who I am. It's my background. You know?
Mhm.
We, us foster kids can do anything we want to do. We just have to want to do it.
Yes.
And ain't nobody gonna tell us no.
Mhm.
Because we're kind of masters of breaking the system.
Yeah.
We can make things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We had someone on the podcast a couple episodes ago who coined the term foster kid fierce for almost the same
Yes.
reason.
Yes.
She wants foster kid to not be a negative word. It
No.
should be so positive and so empowering. And so I love that that's the energy you're
Yeah.
bringing too.
Foster kids are cool.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. We're entrepreneurs. We're
Yeah.
business owners. And we're in charge.
Yes.
And I always tell my children or any child that I'm talking to, and they get nervous walking into the room. And I'm like, you own that room.
Mm-hmm.
You pull into the parking lot belongs to you, you own it. And walk in, but they're looking at me, yeah, because they wish they were you. They own it, you own
Mhm.
it, you own
Mhm.
it. They're looking at you because they're in awe, because they don't understand why you can do what you have done.
Yes.
That's why they're looking at you.
Yes.
Very few are looking at you with ill intention in their mind, and that's okay. They can do all that all they want. That can't affect you in any way.
Yeah.
It can't handicap you.
No.
So
And that's them choosing to have that energy
yeah,
anyway, which is
that's everywhere you
gross.
go.
Yeah.
So move on.
Keep it pushing.
Keep it pushing.
Keep your head up.
And
I love that. And how old are your girls now that you're talking
so
about?
yeah, Jay is 14, Josie's 15, and my son is gonna be 23.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Those are some
I'm
fun ages.
still married to their crazy father. So we got married when I was 17.
How cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
And
cozy.
have really built such a supportive relationship. And you say you're going to do it. And he's like, I don't
Yeah,
know. But he's
yeah.
supportive anyway. He makes sure he knows.
Yeah, he knows. He's always been very supportive.
I love that.
He doesn't like my story. He doesn't like to hear it.
It would be hard.
It's very hard. He's very protective over me. So is my son. They're very protective over me. But I throw myself into situations probably that maybe I shouldn't sometimes. But I don't look back. You know, this is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
And not everybody knows what they're meant to do.
Seriously.
And I know what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm doing it. And so, if any questions out there, if I was to go tomorrow, just know I got up doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I called you a bulldog earlier, and I think it's because you're so brave in that. I
Thank
think that
you.
that's hard for most of us to even be brave enough to decide what our life goal is and what our dreams and purposes are. Those are really hard things for a lot of people. So,
They are. And, your mental health gets in the way, and mental health is so real. For me, we talk about all the positive things and the accomplishments and all awards or whatever. But for me, mental health is huge. For me, nothing's ever good enough.
mm,
I'm never good enough. Anything that I do is just never good enough because that's always in the back of my head. You know what I mean? And in some days you can go into my bedroom. There are pictures on the wall, verbiage. I don't do photos, I do verbiage. And they are
mm-hmm,
get up, show up. No matter how important it is, no matter how bad you feel. Because there are some days I just don't want to.
sure.
There are some days where I just break down and I have those key people and just think, and to be a little graphic and honest because this is real, mental health is real, I can think, oh, I could totally drive in front of that train
Yeah.
and think nothing about it and have no fear to
Mm.
do it because why? Who cares?
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
But when we go through certain things in life, that's real.
Yeah, it is.
And not all the time you want to do these things. But my biggest message on my social media platforms are to get up and go. You have to get up and go. And you have to just show up no matter what. And the days that you really feel like you don't want to, are the days you need to put your makeup on and your best clothes and go even
Yes.
harder. And so, but I'm very out there because that's what helped save my life.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for God, my relationship with God, and if it wasn't for my faith and the people around me, I would have taken my life a dozen times over again because I could think twice. It doesn't faze me to think like that. And some people don't understand that in
Yeah,
people, but it's real.
absolutely.
It's not a scary thing. And so when people say, my parents, my grandparents, my aunties, my uncles, my sisters, my brothers are, drug addicts. So many of them. Now, I have some siblings that are very successful and I'm very proud of them, but there's so many drug addicts and most of them, they're gone.
Yeah.
And I have this addict personality. So I work. I work a lot. And what I'm told, you have to be careful when you tell somebody that works a lot with their goals and very driven. You have to be careful when you talk to them and you say things like, "You need a break.
Mm.
You need a
Mhm.
mental break.
Mhm.
You need to take it." Yeah, yeah. Maybe someone else should do it. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe. Why? You don't believe in me? You
Right.
don't think I can?
Right.
How about you stay out of my life now? I've done cut you off because those foster kids are good at cutting people off
Mhm.
with no emotion, no empathy. And so don't tell me to stop because trust me, you don't want me sitting here with nothing to think about because my brain will attack me.
Yeah.
And it's hard to come out of that place.
Yeah.
So, other than talking about it
Yeah.
and sharing it, you know what I mean? To let other people know they're not alone. And I wish it wasn't normal sometimes to feel that way, but I guess it's become so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and not only what it means to not be sitting still, but look what you've been able to accomplish
Hmm.
when you did get up and do it, even when you didn't want to.
Hmm. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Incredible.
Sometimes, if I'm gonna go speak in front of, 300, 600 people, 20 people, sometimes you're like, my hair's not good enough. I'm not good enough. This is it. My speech is, I never go with a speech. Throw it out the door. I'm done. I don't do scripts.
Yeah.
I can't do them. I won't. I don't want to. I
Mhm.
won't be scripted. I won't be filtered.
Yeah,
And
she's unfiltered
yeah,
queen.
unfiltered. And you just got to go in the moment and you have to speak with transparency and truth
Yes.
and from the heart and where you're at. And I think that's how you can really impact people.
100%. Well, I think your heart is so
Thank
visible.
you. Thank
The
you.
work you're doing is on your sleeve, and
Thank you.
that's such a big accomplishment.
Thank you.
Okay. So we've kind of touched on your family helps you so much, and especially your daughters with this business. What are you wanting to teach them? What are you wanting them to learn from all of these experiences that you're sharing with them?
So it's very important for me for my children to be very independent. It's important for them to be content with being alone,
Yeah.
being content with them in their thoughts, being confident in their thoughts, being confident in who they want to be in life and what they want to do, knowing that they can accomplish anything that they want to accomplish. Business, money management is huge for me and my daughters. Um, they're big on sales. Sales is very large. I'm always pushing them. Like, how can you sell that? What are your numbers? If somebody just asked you this, if you don't know your numbers, you lost that sale. Move on, go to the back. I'm very hard on my children. Uh, Josie, she's 15. She actually writes the checks and takes orders at the restaurant
Okay.
and pays those bills.
Yeah.
She files them, she handles inventory ordering. She runs all the coffee and all the drinks. So she's the barista. I've sent her to local baristas to be trained, and she now has a partnership with Kingdom Coffee.
Wow.
Mhm.
How
So
cool.
they work with her, they train her, they teach her. They spend time with her, and they come in and work on her machine, and she buys all of her espresso beans and everything from them. And so then my other daughter, she's 14, Jalen, and she loves baking. So she's been going to culinary classes to bake different things, and she is learning to sell her product. And she will be up till 1 or 2 a.m. being a perfectionist with her piping skills, or
Mhm.
getting her dough right for a croissant, or whatever she's working on. And then she goes, and now she has to bring them in and she has to sell them.
Yeah.
You have to sell your product.
Yeah.
So my goal for my children is I just want them to be successful in whatever it is they want to do. I just want them to have that confidence in doing it.
Absolutely. How cool, and what a unique experience that they wouldn't be able to have anywhere else.
They wouldn't agree with that all the time, I'm sure, but, I'm very proud of my children. I'm very
Yeah.
proud of their interaction, with the public. One
Mhm.
time my daughter had a situation confrontational with a client. She gave them the wrong change, and they were a little unhappy, and they were very snippy about it. And this is when she was about 12,
Okay.
and I walked away.
And she went, "Ah!"
I
Maybe a
walked
little bit.
away.
Okay.
And she came back and she said, "Mom, you left me." I said, "No, honey, I'll never leave you.
Mhm.
I'll always be right there." But how did that feel?
Yeah.
She goes, "I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't know what to say." I said, "Did you fix the problem?" She goes, "Yes." I said, "Okay, then you're fine."
Yeah.
And my husband said, "What if this customer gets mad? What if they don't come back?" I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if they don't come back because my child made a mistake on $1.25.
Sure.
Go off the road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not the end of the world.
it's
Not the
not.
customer you need.
It's not.
It's the learning experience your daughter needed though, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I said, "Are you gonna make the mistake again?" She goes, "No." So they know their numbers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they take them seriously
Yes,
probably
they
too.
do. Yes, they do.
Wow, okay. What a crazy cool way to just grow up too. And are they homeschooled
They
as
are.
well?
They are homeschooled.
Yeah.
So
So they're
they
spending
went
all their
yes,
time.
they went all through elementary school to public school, and they had the best teachers in the world. And then come through middle school, we pulled them so that they can work in family business and work with numbers, finances. They
Yeah.
work in our rental homes. They work on the farm. Then they have their own things that they're doing as well. My daughters were like, "Mom, we need to can our drinks. Like, put them in a can and seal it."
Mhm.
So we looked it up. It's very expensive. And I was like, "What?" So my husband said, "Know your profit margins on it. Know what the machine costs. How many do you have to sell to pay for the machine? What the drinks cost? What's the product like? Can you get it? Is it accessible for the cans?"
Mhm.
They did all their homework. And so we had to buy the machine. We bought the machine. They paid for it in the first day that they launched it.
Wow. Worth it, and they knew it.
Yeah. One of them makes iced coffees and seals them, and the other one puts cake in them.
Genius.
Yeah.
Look at them being so
Yep.
creative.
Yeah.
That is so genius.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I love that you're able to not only spend that quality time nurturing that empowerment and just how we see ourselves as young women growing up,
It's a huge
which is
blessing.
really hard, but also giving them those real life tangible skills that they may not get anywhere else, honestly.
No.
Wow. How incredible. And a safe place for them to make mistakes. How
Yes.
important is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to make mistakes.
We have to.
That's how we're successful, by
Yes.
failing.
Exactly. Well, I love what you're doing there. That's
Thank you.
incredible. What kind of changes would you like to see in how our community support and advocates our children?
I would like to see I don't know how to say this without being super blunt.
Be super blunt?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, our counties and Division of Family Services are failing our children.
Mm,
So that's what I mean by blunt.
mm.
So, they're ignoring the ones that really need the help, and they're running to all these calls where it's really not child abuse to be poor.
No, it's
It's
not.
not child abuse, nobody around here is starving. We're not starving. We're really not. We're in America. I've seen starving. Okay. And I have been hungry. I've ate out of dumpsters. I've crawled in the dumpsters at Martha's Vineyard, and I've gotten my dinner. I've been
Mhm.
there. So, but I really think there's organizations, we're throwing all these food to the homeless communities, and and we're feeding them an abundance of food from these food pantries because the government's giving money for it. But we're not giving the funds to organize enough funds. And more funds need to be going to organizations like CASA and KVC and ambassadors who are actually working with these children side by side, who there are unpaid volunteers fighting for our kids. That's where these funds need to be going to. I have nothing against the homeless on the street. I run a nonprofit and I've worked with them for many years. But when you tell me, honey, you want grape Kool-Aid and not red Gatorade, then move aside. You're not hungry.
Yeah.
You just need to go figure out your life, and it's not my problem. So let's take those funds and let's dedicate those funds to the organizations that are actually making a difference, and stop trying to get rich off government funds.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like these volunteers, they need gift cards. They need things to keep them going, because to advocate for a child in the foster care system is really hard.
Yeah.
And when you have a life and you have kids and you have a work and things to juggle, and you got court date after court date, and you got a crying kid that their social worker is busy with a massive caseload that doesn't have time, who's going to be there? I didn't have a CASA, so I didn't have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have it. My guardian ad litem was like my best friend.
Yeah.
Because I was always in trouble.
Mm.
And I didn't have somebody that would just come and hang out or go to court and say, no, this is what this kid is wanting. This is what this kid needs. You know, when we have social workers that are working their behinds off, but they are overloaded with so many kids, and they're forced to do these things by a system in a book. These kids are not raised by a book. It's just a broken system, and they've got to get it together.
How do you think a CASA could have changed the way you were able to start your life?
I think I wouldn't have been into homes that I went into.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been in a white jacket in a powdered room.
Right.
I think I would have been a little bit more understood.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have been molested in psych wards by the workers. Somebody would have fought for me.
Yep.
Somebody would have advocated for me. There's some organizations, there's some places that need to be shut down. But I didn't, and I was in the system years ago too,
Right.
But I think if I had a CASA, maybe I just would have had that friend,
Yeah.
somebody that listened to all the things, somebody that I could have just poured into, somebody that was in my corner. Nobody was ever in my corner. Nobody was ever in my corner until I decided to fight for me and to be in my corner.
Right.
And then I was respected, I met
Yeah.
my husband, and he was my natural protector. So he's always been in my corner.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really think I could have made a difference, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But we definitely need more.
Definitely.
We need more. There's not enough CASAs for sure. There's a lot of kids.
That's the problem. Yeah.
There's a lot of kids in the system, and I feel their process could be quicker if there was more advocates.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. That is what our CASAs are doing. And I would wish that they would have validated that this wasn't normal for you too, right? Like you're able to do with your kiddos and show them all of these new things. But I'm still so proud of all the things you've done, and
Thank you.
it's incredible. And I'm so honored to even be in your
Oh, yeah.
presence.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I hope that we all learned some things today. We're going to share some of those resources in the bottom of this episode as well. But we are going to move to our next segment, where in Greene County, Judge Hosmer loves when a child comes into the courtroom and engages with the process.
Yeah.
He always asks for them to share a joke,
Okay.
which is really fun because they're always cheesy and punny, of course. 'Cause they're kids' jokes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And so many of our volunteers buy like joke books. Let the kids pick their own. And we are going to listen to a joke from a kiddo really quick.
Okay, let's do it.
We'll see what we think.
Yeah.
Where do sports teams go to buy new uniforms? New Jersey.
That's a good one.
That's cute, right?
That is really cute.
They're so cute. That's one of my favorite things that he does in the courtroom.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your
Thank you for
story,
having me.
what you're doing. if you're listening and if you're in Republic, go check out Marigold Cafe.
100%.
Get yourself a little breakfast burrito
Yes.
or a good coffee, cake in a cup, all the fun things. But support that women and family owned business. So thank you so much for tuning in today and learning with us. This has been another episode down and another child's future up. Bye.
Bye.